Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the I Am Undeniable podcast. We are going to essentially jump into it. And what I'm actually going to be talking about today is the fasting fallacy, why it won't get you lean. And to be straight up, fasting has been hyped up as the ultimate fat loss hack. But is it the key to getting lean? Well, in today's episode, I'm going to break down why fasting won't deliver the long-term fat loss results that you're after, especially if you're a high achiever balancing a demanding career. We'll dive into the science of metabolism, why skipping meals can actually backfire when it comes down to your results, and what you should focus on instead to lose fat, build muscle, and stay fit without sacrificing performance. Now, if you're tired of the quick fix diet trends and want a sustainable, results-driven approach, well, this episode is 100% for you. So, guys, welcome to another episode. I'm actually going to be just diving into it and really talking about why fasting is not the way to go for fat loss. It's a very big trend that's going on around right now. I get a lot of DMs and a lot of questions about intermittent fasting, losing body fat, all that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, fasting has been around for a very, very long time. This is not something new. So when I see it in as this new fitness hack or fitness trend that's going to help you lose body fat, get you into big shape, it's not. It's been around for a very long time, like lots of different cultures fast. There are benefits to it. But when it comes down to losing body fat and having optimal performance, it's a completely different story. And that is what I'm going to be really breaking down and really talking about right now. Now, we're going to cover the first question. Does fasting work for fat loss? Yes and no. And we're going to dive into why. So what we need to understand is, what is fasting? Well, fasting, all it is an eating window. And there's many different types of fasting out there. There's eating windows that go from 12 to 8, an 8-hour eating window. There's ones where you have a 6-hour eating window a day, even ones that have only 1 hour of an eating window a day. Some fasting will tell you to fast for 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, over the weekend, whatever that looks like. There's many different ones. Now, is this considered a fat loss diet or something that you should do for fat loss or weight loss? Well, the answer is no. And the reason being, all it is like I mentioned, it's an eating window. It's just getting you to eat within a certain time period throughout the day. And that means you're going to essentially put yourself into what we call a calorie deficit, right? So fasting is just a very indirect way to put you into a calorie deficit, right? So there's one thing I really want you guys to understand. There's nothing magical about it. There's not some magic hack, magic fix of why it's going to help you lose body fat quicker than a normal fat loss routine. It is fucking not. It does not work like that, right? It is just an eating window. And the reason why I'm actually talking about why it won't get you lean is for a couple of reasons, right? So the number one reason why it's not very sustainable for a lot of people, right? So a lot of people will go on a fasting routine for a period of time. They'll lose all of this weight because now they put themselves in the calorie deficit, but you can't maintain that weight off, right? You might be someone in that position where you've done fasting before. You felt low energy, you lost all this weight, and as soon as you were done fasting, you gain all that weight back, right? And that's one of the biggest problems that we see with fasting, right? And if you're a high performer, a high achiever, someone who has a business or a career, fasting is honestly not the way to go for your own lifestyle, right? Having an eating window where it's limiting you and limiting your performance and your sociability is not a good thing, right? And one of the reasons where we see this is okay, your eating window is shrunk down to a certain window. It is shrunk down into a window where you can actually eat. But what happens if you have meetings? What happens if you got lunch events, late night parties, networking events? You got to travel. It's not very economic in terms of a long-term lifestyle approach. That's honestly one of the biggest reasons I'm not a fan with it, is because the majority of people that do it can't actually sustain it. And if we mentioned, if you listen to what I said earlier, you know, if you all you need to be is in a calorie deficit. So you can actually eat normal 3 to 4 meals and be way more consistent, have way more sustainability that way. So fasting is not a very good long-term approach when it comes down to your fat loss goals. Now, that's number one, right? So we already broke down like why it's not a good idea, why it's not very sustainable for your lifestyle. Now, second reason is you haven't built up any like real long-term habits, right? Now, it's not just about losing body fat. It's also about learning to teach your body and build habits to teach you how to keep it off for a very long time. And what fasting does, it takes such an extreme approach to build a habit that's not very sustainable for you for a very long time. Now, imagine it this way. What happens if I told you there's a better way? What happens if I told you there's a better way to have way more energy, to eat more food, to have a way more realistic and sustainable routine and a more balanced lifestyle than fasting? Like, wouldn't you do it? So the question is then for you guys is like, why are you choosing such an extreme option? Well, I think it's because you are sold, or maybe you're so used to wanting to get results as quickly as possible, right? You want to get results now. You think this is the only way for you to like sustainably get towards your goal. And I want you to know it's not. There's a better way out there. There's a better way that you can have a way better lifestyle. You can have way better balance. You can feel significantly better, have long-term energy, and actually lose body fat and keep it off. Right? So in the terms of like how the science of your metabolism works, as long as you're within a calorie deficit, you're going to lose body fat. It doesn't matter if you are fasting or if you're not fasting. It's totally irrelevant at that point. And it's not going to benefit you any more than like a normal calorie deficit, counting your macros in terms of fat loss, right? So that's like the one thing that we want to get super clear at. I wouldn't just try it because you want to try it, because I can tell you right now, like the majority of people that I see do it can't keep it up long term, and they will fail at it. The majority of people do. Now, why does skipping meals actually backfire on you? Well, the reason why, it's like, number one, it's not sustainable. Number two, it's not very realistic for a lot of people. It's like there's nothing wrong with the fast. It's just not very realistic for your life. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned earlier, just eat 3 to 4 meals a day and you'll be totally fine. Right? I think like a lot of people who want to live a more balanced lifestyle, have families, have careers, have a business, if it can find a more sustainable way to do that, like you are going to be significantly more successful that way. Like even if you go to my page and you see all the client transformations I have, none of them did intermittent fasting. They all ate like 3 to 4 to 5 meals a day. They ate like a regular person. We just prioritized protein, got them into a calorie deficit, and then got them the results. There was no like extreme driven result through it. And you don't need to do that for yourself as well, right? And the reality is it can backfire on you. It can affect your performance. It can affect like the energy that you have throughout the day. Like a lot of people think fasting itself is just going to help them lose weight. It's not. If you're not eating the right amount of calories, the right amount of protein, it doesn't matter if you fast or not, you're just not going to lose body fat. You're not going to feel great on it. So your foundational principle, like what you should actually be focusing on, is not intermittent fasting. It is focusing on learning about being in a calorie deficit that's realistic for you, eating a high protein diet, eating the right amount of carbs, eating the right amount of fats, making sure that your body feels really good, that you have a lot of energy, and that you can focus on performance. Because the truth is, the reason why extreme dieting doesn't work for people is because you can't keep it up. Like it's like literally stepping up from sitting down on the couch and then sprinting down the street. Like you can't just do that, right? You got to face facts here. Like you can't do that. You can't go from one extreme to the next and expect it to work. And that's the problem that we see with it. It's an extreme process to equal an extreme result, right? So what I think we need to do with all you listeners here is we need to change your viewpoint. It's not the fast that is going to allow you to lose weight. It is the calorie deficit. And you need to learn how to eat the right foods in order to make that happen. So what I did here is I actually created a free 15-minute training on the exact foods to eat and exactly what you need to do in order to lose body fat. Now, if you want access to this training, go to my Instagram at Alex Sundar Fit and DM me and ask for this training, and I will send it to you for free, right? Because we need to get away from this fallacy that these extreme diets work and that they're actually going to get you results. So guys, hope you guys find this episode super, super valuable. The overall takeaway lesson is not the fast, right? Do it the right way, do it the more sustainable way. And if you're stuck and you don't know where to start, shoot me a DM and I can send you this free training. Peace, love, and protein. Hope you guys have the best day ever, and we'll talk with all of you very soon.